Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with another battle report. So I played at a new store this last weekend, one I've only played there a couple times before, and playing an opponent I'd never played before, and he plays Skaven, which I find funny because I've played him 3 out of my last 4 games now, and having rarely played him before. So I figure that Bretonnia must be scouring their lands of the plague of rats. So let's see how it goes this game. Starting on the far right, there are some French fries. Those are not mine. Next to them is a doom wheel. Then there's a warp lightning cannon, weapons team warp fire thrower. So there's a big unit of clan rats with a warlock engineer and a gray seer. Next to them is a big unit of storm vermin with another gray seer, and then his chieftain BSB. And I thought that was a real interesting build. I think he's playing around trying to find a tournament list for the tournament coming up in July that I'm going to, and he liked the idea of using 2 gray seers. They do have, of course, the warpstone tokens, which helps them out a little bit. But of course, the big danger is what do you do when you don't have the dice to use all their spells? But anyway, there's another weapons team, another warp lightning cannon, then a big unit of plague monks with plague furnace, and of course, the plague priest. So facing it, I was really just when I was deploying, I was just doing matchups. When he put his doom wheel down, I knew I wanted my knights errant to take care of that. Put a trebuchet down in the corners. I think it's a wonderful thing to have against Skaven. Archers on the hill, some fast cav up front, some peasants in horde formation, some peasants in a bus formation. Then I've got my 11 knights of the realm with all my characters, some peg knights in front of them. This is the same list I've been using the last couple games. So basically, I've got the Green Knight model as my general. He can kill anything, and that's why he's directly opposite that plague furnace. I've got a level 4 Lore of Life, and all she has is a scroll. Then I've got a couple paladins. They both have a 1-up rerollable armor save. Now the problem going against Skaven is he has a number of things that don't allow any weapon armor saves, especially that plague furnace. So I'm a little bit scared about that, but the only chance I have is just to rush there as quickly as possible. Hopefully get heroic killing blow on it. Once that thing's off the table, we should be okay. I also need to use my archers and peg knights and stuff to get rid of his some of his shooting. So I have more archers in the trebuchet and more archers on the far left. So we go to Skaven turn 1, and he moves as you can see. There's the doom wheel coming over. Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with my knights errant. Yeah, everything looks like that. He uses his warp lightning cannons to target my trebuchets. One of them misses for whatever. Another one kills a trebuchet, so I'm down 1, and that's okay because I brought 2. So we go to Bretonnia turn 1. So first off, I charge the fast cav into his weapons team. He does a stand and shoot. I'm kind of thinking he'll probably, just do a stand and shoot and kill me. But what else am I going to do with these guys? And anyway, he misfires and scatters on top of the hill and then blows up. So apparently when that happens, I think it's when you roll a 3 or 4 on your misfire chart, you scatter 2d6 inches and then you put a big template down. So that thing, if it had gone a slightly different direction, really could have hurt his units. But anyway, so these guys failed their redirect, so they're just sitting there right in front of that doom wheel. And the problem with that is the doom wheel's going to come in and obliterate them, and I'm okay with that. But then it's going to overrun, and if it hits the flank of my men-at-arms, it's just going to cause me problems. I'll be steadfast for a while there, but I'd really just rather that not happen. Over on this far side, I was very happy with the charge my peg knights into this other weapons team. He did a stand and shoot. He killed one of my guys, and I passed my panic test. But I was in range of my general and BSB, so that wasn't surprising. I love this because I really think I'm going to beat him in combat. I'm going to overrun, and I'm really, really hoping I can overrun into that warp lightning cannon. Because if nothing else, he won't be able to shoot it this turn, and then I should be able to take it off the board. So I didn't need a crazy long charge for that. I think I only needed like a 7 or an 8 on my roll, but I was very, very glad that I didn't fail it. Over here, the Knights Errant failed their impetuous test, so they tried to charge the Doom Wheel. I needed to roll box cars to get it, so of course they failed. So overall, the board looks like that. Yeah, so during the magic phase, I throw 6 dice at Dwellers Below, and I get it off on this unit. And that's great because, um, well, because it helps. But, when I charge in there, I'm kind of expecting to get Heroic Killing Blow off on the Plague Furnace itself. So once that thing's gone, he's going to have very, very few Plague Monks left. So I really, Dwellers Below just really kind of made this a non-issue over here. Even if I don't get Killing Blow the first round of combat, even if it takes me another round, I'm just really not worried about it. I think I've got his left flank sewn up. Now, to do that, she miscast, she lost 3 levels, and the only spell she now has left is Flesh to Stone. And again, I'm actually somewhat okay with that. My only concern is having a level 1 against his 2 level 4s. But basically, the magic phase, I'm more worried about her losing the levels. I don't really care about the spells. I don't need to keep Dwellers Belowing, his units. I think my Trebuchet thinned out his Storm Vermin just a little bit. And during the combat phase, yeah, easily beat the weapons team, overran, and we are in base contact with the Warp Lightning Cannon. It doesn't look like it because they just won't fit, but yeah, they're there. So we go to Skaven turn 2, and for the most part, I think he just backs up, with the exception of his Doom Wheel, which comes into the flank of the Fast Cav. Yeah. That's not good. During the magic phase, he got Scorch off on this unit, so I think like every model has to take a strength 4 hit, or something like that. And yeah, so whittled that unit down. I think I'm okay. I don't think I really need that unit to, to be at full strength to do what I need it to do. During the shooting phase, he only kills 1 of the Fast Cavs. Kind of hoping he'd kill all 5. Yeah, the darn Warp Lightning Cannon, those things are brutal against Knights. So it shoots at this unit, kills 4 of the 11 Knights of the Realm. And then after combat, a big sigh of relief. I mean, obviously he just slaps around the peasants, but then when he rolls his overrun, he doesn't roll far enough to get into the flank of my men-at-arms. So now my Knights Errant do not need to roll very far to get into his flank. So I was very, very happy about that. After combat here, yeah, made short work of the Warp Lightning Cannon, so that's fantastic. And then turned around to face the Plague Monks. In hindsight, probably the smarter move. Oh, I take that back. What I wanted to do was turn him to face the other Warp Lightning Cannon and then charge him on my turn. The problem is that during his magic phase, he got a spell off on them so that they can't fly, and I couldn't make that charge. He had his clan rats in the way. So since I couldn't do that, I just turned him to hit the Plague Monks to make sure that we kill those guys off as soon as possible. So Bretonnia turn 2, if you look on the right hand side, the Knights Errant make it into the Doom Wheel. Again, I didn't need a whole lot to do that. The peasants move up just a fair amount, and on the left you can see that my Knights of the Realm with my characters make it into the Plague Furnace. So there we go. That Plague Furnace is kind of good against Knights, against anything that relies on its armor save, but you know what? I just got to take it on the chin and get rid of that thing. So there's a close-up there. Peasants. I didn't want to get too close with the peasants because I don't want the Storm Vermin to get a flank charge into my Knights, but at the same time, I don't know. I just didn't want to rush my peasants up too far and then just have them get charged and beaten and get everything screwed up. Trebuchet lands on these guys and makes them a little bit weaker. The Doom Wheel dies very, very easily. Here, I don't know if we played this correctly or incorrectly, but I think he did his grinding attacks and it killed a knight. And then I just asked, I said, do you get those grinding attacks even if I'm in your flank? And he said, oh no, I'm a chariot, so that was wrong. And we put my knight back. When I looked at the Skaven book afterward, I don't see where it says anything about that. So if anybody knows if the Doom Wheel gets its grinding attack on any side, or if you have to be in its front in order for that to work. And over on this side of the board, yeah, so we charge in, and before we do any combat, he has the Plague Furnace, does D6 wounds with no armor save. So you can see I'm down to only 5 Knights of the Realm. So he killed some of those, and it looks like my general has a wound on him. But we got heroic killing blow off. We had tons of combat res. Matter of fact, we did a ton of wounds. If you look on the left, that is his plague priest and 1 remaining plague monk, and we killed all the rest. I still can't believe it. I mean, we just did a ton of wounds. So I didn't bother to pursue them. I just reformed. If those storm vermin can see my knights, at least it'll be a front charge, and I'm not sure if they can from this angle or not, and it doesn't matter. I did my best to reform so that they couldn't get a flank charge on me. Yeah, and just reform, just let those guys run off the board because they're under 25%. So we go to Skaven turn 3. Takes this Warlock Engineer, and moves him out of the unit. I was really surprised by this move. I meant to talk to him and just ask him why. I figured there was something he was doing with them. I know that he does shoot. He has his, that item that he brought is a one use only, pretty nasty shooting attack. But yeah, he's just in here just to stop my units. And over here, these guys needed Snake Eyes to stand, and he rolled Snake Eyes. I was like, you've got to be kidding. He just saved all those points. I'm not really worried about it. Really, at this point, the game should easily be mine, but he still has a lot of magic, and he has enough shooting that can take my knights out of the picture that actually he still has a chance to pull things out, or at least make it close. And so saving all these points is absolutely huge. Couldn't believe it. During the shooting, if you see I'm losing even more knights, I think he took his Warlock Engineer and he had to. I think he used basically he can choose between 4 and 10 dice, and if he rolls 3 ones, some bad things are gonna happen to him. I don't know. I think he chose 8. Whatever he chose, it was a lot to throw a big pipe template on my knights, and I think it's strength 5, and whatever it was, it just did a ton of damage. My Prophetess, I believe, is on 2 wounds, and my general's on 1, or vice versa. And you can see I'm very, very low on Knights of the Realm. So that kind of worked for him. It's certainly weakening that unit. But then we go to Bretonnia turn 3, and just everything in this game. You notice I haven't said much about magic. Every turn in his magic phase, he's actually rolling a lot of dice, but he's throwing dice at spells and failing to cast and taking one of his Greyseers completely out of action. I mean, really, his magic phase wasn't impacting the game, and he had all these points tied up in the magic phase. So you can see that the Knights Errant made it into his Warp Lightning Cannon. They needed an 11, and I got it. The Knights of the Realm and Peg Knights easily made it into the Storm Vermin. The Men-at-Arms, I think, needed a 9 or a 10, and they got it. And, of course, the Men-at-Arms charged the Engineer, and that was an easy charge. But really, just everything I needed just came. So I didn't feel I needed the Peg Knights, so I turned them just so I could mop up this unit. I figure they can't get away from me, even if they tried to march. I don't think they can get between me and the edge of the table, and if so, whatever. I'll take care of them next time. Yeah, so that's easily won. That's easily won. And yeah, after that, rushed in and just absolutely crushed him. I don't know, there's something about having my characters up there, especially the one guy with the Sword of Might, that just gives me a lot more wounds than I normally get when you just have knights. I mean, yeah, and my peasants just went to town. I'm not sure he did any wounds on me. He should have done some of the peasants. He just rolled a bunch of 1s. So everything went against him, and that unit crushed. So that was his general, his battle standard bearer. The only thing he has left are some clan rats with a level 4. And although the level 4 can do some harm, I think at this point it's going to be too little too late. So we just decided to call the game right there. Just an absolute crushing of the Skaven. It just really just insanely good luck. I really wish my luck would even out and not be really good one game and really bad another. But this game, it felt like everything I needed I got, and handled the Skaven very easily. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.